drawdowns. So as it turns out, actually, yeah, that's why I showed you this one on the left. This one on the left is the winner. And because the stop loss doesn't factor much into it, it should be of no surprise to you that when you limit your losses, so you have the smallest drawdown available, that you're likely going to get the best outcome. The worst one was this one, where we nearly maximized our drawdown. Now, the one that might not be too intuitive, certainly wasn't with me, is your look back. It turns out that the 20-day look back is a lot better than the 90-day look back. So basically, as you increased your look back, you got worse results, because this whole pile that you see up here was all 20-day look backs. They all were 2% drawdowns, and the stop losses, the 9% was the best, the 8% was next, the 7% was next after that. But they were all pretty damn close, because it wasn't till you got down to that 4% that there was any real difference at all anyway, because this didn't factor into it much, because the drawdown here was the one in control most of the time. All right, so this is what the type of thing you need to do. So first of all, you'll notice that we had a whole lot of market-beating returns on a very simple trading system that wasn't over-parameterized, and you were able to take a look and you were able to see what you need to see, a universe of potential faults. Now, what would you have to do after this? Oh, actually, you know what? I want to mention to you one thing. I didn't tell you this 1.44. This 1.44 happens to be the long-only portion of the algorithm I trade. So you notice the long-only portion of the algorithm I trade actually underperformed the market. So you may think that's weird. My short position was another 0.50 or whatever. So my particular algo, short and long, was right up here. Right? So you don't necessarily want to pick the top one, because remember, this ignores a whole lot of things. First of all, drilling in on, and we'll do that now. Let me just pick the winner. And we'll drill in on some of this stuff, and I can show you what I mean. You see a lot of these lines? This means you were stopped out, you're in cash, you go up, stopped out, in cash. Okay, a lot of these things, especially these small ones, not these larger ones, are the ones that you're going to get traded out, traded to death. Stop in, stop out. You're going to be paying commission, which isn't a big deal nowadays, but you're going to get a shit ton of slippage. So the reality is, because the stop loss on this one is so tight, at 2%, you are going to be getting so much slippage, the theoretical return is nowhere close to where you're going to be. You're going to be significantly lower. So you don't necessarily always want to choose the top one. So my algorithm isn't this, but I just wanted to show where my algorithm traded on the long only. It actually underperforms the market. But when I add in the shorts, it significantly overperforms the market, to the point where it's one of the best, and it already has the characteristics of it's more in tune with not over trading and causing tons and tons of slippage, to the fact where you would never get this type of returns anyways. And you really need to perform this type of analysis, because this prevents a lot of accidental data snooping that you would not otherwise be privy to, because you've just traded 512 universes and any type of combinations. And you know, first of all, let's take a look. Every single one of these is profitable. A whole bunch of them are, at least at the long end, because I didn't trade the short on this. So this would accumulate some amount of returns from the short. But every single one of them were profitable. You had nothing going down, showing maybe great for a while and then just losing its ass. That's where most of you are going to find yourself, because you're going to overthink your methodology, your system. You're going to be using things that are just counter to each other, and you're going to be garbage in, garbage out. So your universe is not going to be all going bottom left, top right. It's going to be, doing way highs and then falling out of bed, and things that you would never realistically trade once you apply money management and start looking at your actual dollar drawdown. Because remember, you have to trade this stuff, right? So it's going to be a disaster. So I'm going to end it here. We're definitely into a couple videos. I know I just continue to speak, so I will cut them off and make 2 out of this currently 1 recording. But I want to impress upon you, you don't have to have a convoluted, very tough to code, nearly impossible to code for most people, set of indicators and parameters that you're never going to be able to trust. Trend lines, multiple time frames. You just are never going to make any headway with that. You're going to have to start with something simple, make it your life mission to keep it simple, and then run this type of multi-parameter universe of trades. And if it looks tight, you've got to start. And then from there, you're going to build on what's real. How much in and out slippage nonsense am I going to take from a lot of these, which makes those not real? You bring it down to something you can, make sense of. And if you're going to trade long and short, I do suggest you separate them so you can see more easily which one is doing the winning and which one's going to give you the drawdown. I do that, and then I amalgamate them together, and I make sure at actual trading time, trading trigger time, that you're never both long and short at the same time. One of them's got to, win. So you've got to amalgamate them together properly as well. Keep it simple, stupid. Run a universe to see if it just looks good in data snooping land, and then you find trading these things going forward, they completely come unglued. A situation like this is not going to come unglued. And for 30 seconds of thinking of 3 parameters and then just bracketing them and looking at them, you get a really good idea very quickly if you're barking up the right tree or not. 2-Tick Nick, you would do well to learn something like this. That would require you to stop what you're doing now, stop your trading, learn to code, figure out a simple system. And if I will tell you one thing, what will prevent most of you from trading a bad system if you choose to follow this methodology is you won't be able to code it. All right, and that will stop you dead in your tracks. So if you're committed, like you should be, to trading algorithmically, you're going to be forced due to your inability to code. Things get complicated very quick to keep it simple. And I'm telling you, that's going to be more accretive to you than anything else you're probably going to do. And then you layer on top of that your money management. You have to build models to tell you what your Kelly fraction is. And I use SecureF, and I like that a lot better. That's a whole other month of your work when you're programming after you've got what looks like a decent idea. And you're going to have to do things like this so you can find out before you go too far what even passes the sniff test. So we're going to wrap it up here. This is your better Mousetrap, probably done 30 seconds, and then the time it takes to do the coding to show. And you'll see how well this is, because I've already got a good idea of the type of things that work and that don't, right? And most of you are going to be doing the stupid shit that doesn't work, and that's why 95+% of traders lose. It's because they don't even have the beginning of a system, and what they do is just garbage, whether they understand it or not. All right, or, hey, you know what you can always do? Join my Patreon service. When you give up trying to do stuff like that, this is fine. You don't have to do it. It's not your bag. What should you care more about than being a solo hero trying to do all this coding? Making money. Screw that. Let somebody else that can do that do the work for you, show you the work, right? So you're a Patreon member. You know I've done this stuff, okay? And you know it because I've got exact parameters for you all the time. I can show you my work all day long as a Patreon member. Right, so it's been vetted. You don't have to go on a wing and a prayer and a hope that some random dude has done the work. No, you can see I've done the work. So you can allow that to do the work for you as you put no real effort into it, and you go and do the things in life that you're good at. All right, I'll see you here. Click on the link down in the description, hit Patreon, make 2026 your year. And I'll see you then.